The thug named Cho Junsik cracked a cruel smile. He growled, declaring he would not wait for anyone to come, he would actively seek them out to kill. Immediately after the threat, he rushed in, wildly slashing and killing among the crowd of players. Blood splattered everywhere, screams echoed across the blood-soaked grass. Cho Junsik laughed loudly in his madness. No police, no reporters, no cameras. This was a place where he could kill freely without worrying about consequences. Junsik stood towering among the corpses. He arrogantly declared he could kill as many as he wanted, while the remaining people trembled looking at him. Holding the bloodied knife, he threatened, anyone who did not vote for him in the next round would be the next victim. The crowd fell silent in fear. The horrific scene terrified all the surviving players. Fear spread as they faced the mad killer. Junsik was pleased to see the fear in their eyes. He believed he would win through fear and targeted his next victim, Black Scythe. Ryu Min, Black Scythe, silently observed. With cold eyes, he declared he would kill that arrogant guy first to claim the #1 spot. Thanks to the cumulative effect of Rune of Slaughter and triple EXP, Ryu Min reached level 16. However, he realized the leveling speed was slowing down. In the forest full of monster corpses, Ryu Min calculated, killing 200 monsters only increased 6 levels. Still, he sighed in relief because hunting monsters was still easy. Black Scythe coldly faced the one who called him, asking directly, "What do you want?" Meanwhile, the other, Cho Junsik, casually replied that he had only one proposal. Junsik did not beat around the bush, flashing a cruel smile and declaring, "Work for me." Black Scythe slightly frowned, surprised by that reckless proposal. "Work for you." Junsik tightly gripped the blood-stained knife, smiling triumphantly. "Exactly. Then I will spare your life." He burst out laughing loudly, as if mocking Black Scythe's reaction, absolutely confident in his own power. But Ryu Min showed no sign of flinching. He stood straight, looked down at Junsik and calmly asked, "Want a fight?" Junsik frowned, angry at being underestimated, continuing to threat. He raised his knife, emphasizing, "Don't you understand your situation?" Before he finished speaking, Ryu Min coldly interrupted, "Don't you understand Korean?" A black and red aura flared around Ryu Min's hand. He raised his hand, preparing to summon a weapon, his gaze icy cold. A giant black scythe appeared, surrounded by fierce dark energy. Ryu Min said seriously, "Only after fighting will you understand." Cho Junsik, the arrogant and confident one, panicked when he saw the giant weapon in Ryu Min's hand. Cold sweat poured down as he muttered inside, "Damn, I made a mistake." Ryu Min stepped closer, eyes sharp and cold, questioning, "Why no answer? Forgot how to speak." His tone was calm but full of threat. Junsik was speechless. Fear made him tongue-tied. Only the sound of teeth grinding remained in silence. Junsik tried to salvage his spirit. "I am Cho Junsik, leader of the Junsik faction. Do you think I will kneel before you?" Despite being covered in blood, he still forced himself to show his ego. Junsik roared, charging forward with a sharp knife. "Come here, fight me with that damn weapon." He launched a desperate, reckless attack. Ryu Min smiled faintly, turning his head. "Ha, he's still reckless like in previous resets." In his mind, Ryu Min decided, it's time to end this game. Ryu Min thought silently, "I can't let people vote for me." He had a bigger goal, not wanting to be chosen as the district representative. Junsik must be the zone representative. I need him for round 3. Ryu Min calculated every move, using his opponent as a pawn to serve his strategy. Ryu Min's red eyes gleamed coldly. He knew the crucial moment was approaching. The angel is about to appear. From above, an angel with giant white wings descended, asking, "Are you all present humans?" Everyone looked up, bathed in divine light. Cho Junsik, his body covered in blood but trying to appear strong, shouted that his opponent was just lucky. Yet the trembling in his eyes was undeniable. Black Scythe turned his back calmly, warning Junsik to carefully consider his opponent before acting if he didn't want to die early. Junsik stood frozen among the crowd, sweat pouring down, hands gripping the knife tightly, trying to calm himself after being mentally threatened. However, his gaze gradually became panicked as he realized no one was looking at him as intently as he had expected. He breathed heavily, trembling, admitting inwardly that fear almost made him faint, but he vowed not to let this pass easily. Junsik muttered a vow of revenge. He believed that once he became the zone representative, he would have a chance to make Black Scythe pay. The second angel with white wings, long blonde hair, and a cold smile appeared to begin the zone representative voting ritual. She observed the battlefield, coldly mocking that humans had been chatting for the past 3 hours. But that didn't matter, as their lives or deaths meant nothing to her. The angel gently asked, "Shall we start the voting then?" Her smile full of mockery. A floating screen appeared before each player. The zone representative voting officially began. Each person could vote only once, and the one with the most votes would win. A male player was startled when the voting board appeared. Instructions sounded. Look at the person you want to vote for and think the word vote in your mind. If you don't vote within 5 minutes, you will die. The countdown began. 4 minutes 59 seconds left to vote. Players nervously repeated the instructions. Just look at the person you want to vote for and think vote. Life is a Documentary was confident, thinking all eyes were on him, as if it were obvious. Hurt in his pride, he suddenly shouted at a blue-haired player who was bowing his head, a newcomer whose name was unknown. Life is a Documentary threatened the player he called out for daring not to look at him. The other panicked and replied that he had already voted. Ryu Min sighed in relief for not being noticed. Not stopping, Life is a Documentary yelled that anyone not looking at him would die. He became frantic and lost control when ignored. The countdown clock hit 0000. The angel appeared, announcing time was up and no one was foolish enough not to vote. The angel clapped to signal the start of vote counting, her face full of delight as if awaiting entertainment. The vote results appeared. Life is a Documentary led with 2,412 votes, closely followed by Ryu Min Aka Black Scythe with 2,077 votes. Black Flame Dragon in Hand came third with 249 votes, while Dumpling Cheeks and Cute Baby Bird received 6 and 5 votes respectively. Life is a Documentary was stunned. Despite leading, he did not expect the votes to be so close, and was even more shocked that the one he despised, Ryu Min, came second by a narrow margin. Life is a Documentary was furious for not getting all the votes. He was bitter knowing some votes had gone to Black Side. The angel announced the final result. Life is a Documentary officially became the zone representative with the highest votes. As zone representative, Life is a Documentary was granted directive authority, a special power exclusive to the zone representative. Life is a Documentary smiled wickedly, vowing to make Black Scythe regret sparing his life. He intended to order his death through his newly acquired authority. He suddenly paused as the system interface appeared, describing the skill, authoritative position, which can only be used 10 times. Life is a Documentary was shocked to learn the skill could not affect those who already had a class. His dream of domination immediately wavered. The angel smiled slyly, announcing that it was not over yet. This round still had a hidden mission. The angel revealed the hidden quest. Those who obtained a class before voting would receive a reward, a 50% discount coupon for today's item. All players were surprised when the notification board appeared. They began to wonder about the class selection item. A brown-haired boy and a reddish-brown-haired girl were both surprised by the appearance of the class selection item. It was their first time hearing that they could get a class in this game. The female angel coldly sneered, revealing that only those who reached level 10 could open the side quest window. She was sure most people did not know this. A short brown-haired player scratched his head in confusion, wondering how to level up when no monsters appeared. The angel glared angrily, denying that excuse. She affirmed that monsters were everywhere in the forest. She softened her tone and comforted them that failing to complete the quest was not shameful, as only 80,000 people across all zones had obtained a class this time. She happily announced that their zone also had one person who obtained a class, causing everyone to buzz with curiosity about who it was. The angel raised her hand and asked, "Shall we see who it is?" preparing to reveal the identity of that rare player. The side result board displayed. The top player across all zones was Black Scythe, reaching level 16 and the Grim Reaper class. He was also the only one in zone ESKS 45-5 to complete the side quest. The crowd was stunned to see Black Scythe leading. A young man in shoulder armor whispered in disbelief. People began to murmur, "He's the only one in the zone to get a class," unable to hide their surprise. As all eyes turned, Ryuman, nicknamed Black Scythe, stood silently, tall and lean with a proud aura, revealing the Grim Reaper class that amazed the group. After announcing the class achiever, the atmosphere became lively. Some players curiously discussed the Grim Reaper class, the class Ryuman had just obtained. They wondered how strong it was and questioned whether it was related to the giant black scythe he had once used. Among the crowd, a brown-haired male player, the one who had been defeated by Ryuman, showed anger. He cursed his failure, revealing that he had tried to use his authority to force Ryuman to self-destruct. However, he did not expect Ryuman to change class at this time and achieve the highest rank. The angel confirmed the ranking of the second round side quest, explaining that the ranking was based on completion time. In the list, Ryuman, nicknamed Black Scythe, finished fastest with a time of 00:39:42. The angel continued to monitor the results board and confirmed that the class achiever in zone ESKS 45-5 was indeed Black Scythe. She was surprised that he not only ranked first in his zone, but also topped all zones. The angel showed excitement as she called Ryuman's name and congratulated him for obtaining the Grim Reaper class, a solo class. She commented that the nickname Black Scythe perfectly matched the class he received, then curiously asked how Ryuman came up with that nickname. With cold eyes, the angel tilted her head and asked Ryuman if he knew beforehand that he would receive the Grim Reaper class, hinting that everything might have been arranged in advance. Ryuman, with his usual calm expression, answered that he did not expect to receive a class matching his nickname. His answer made both the crowd and the angel uncertain about the truth. The angel asked another sharp question. So your switch to Grim Reaper was random? In the stands, other players all looked curiously toward Ryumin. Ryumin nodded in confirmation, briefly saying, yes. The angel softly uttered a doubtful ho tilde, as if not fully believing that answer. In his inner thoughts, Ryumin affirmed that the angel did not know the real process that helped him obtain the Grim Reaper class. She only knew it was a solo class, unaware of the secret behind his choice. The second angel smiled with delight, exclaiming that this might be fate, showing special interest in Ryumin's situation. She was amazed that someone in this zone had undergone a class change. She confirmed that Ryumin would not be affected by the power position, authority. Other players, including those near Ryumin, were puzzled by the term power position and asked the angel for further explanation. The angel giggled and revealed that power position could not be applied to someone who already had a class, meaning Ryumin could not be manipulated. She added that this power could only be used exactly 10 times, limiting the influence of the zone representative, which amazed everyone. Junsik, the brown-haired thug with a face full of wounds, clenched his teeth angrily because the angel had revealed the power's limit in front of all players. The angel smiled brightly, believing that the first person to receive a class should be rewarded, a prize soon to be given to Ryumin. When she snapped her fingers, a system notification appeared. Ryumin was the first to complete the side quest in the zone and across all zones. Ryumin received 2 rewards, a low-rank rare armor voucher in the zone, and a special gift box for leading all zones. The system displayed 3 rare armor options for Ryumin to choose from: Night-style iron armor, hunter's leather jacket, and light mage robe.
Ryumin carefully considered the 3 armor rewards. The knight armor was too heavy and the mage robe lacked defense. He immediately chose the hunter's leather armor, the optimal choice for flexibility and combat effectiveness.
Next, Ryumin faced the special reward. 3 options appeared: triple experience, 3,000 gold, or information about round 3. Knowing that round 3 would be filled with monsters, Ryumin quickly eliminated gold and information. He chose the triple EXP buff to speed up leveling, a wise move preparing for the next battle. A golden light enveloped him. Ryumin accepted the reward silently, his sharp eyes full of determination. The angel's voice echoed through the space, announcing that the rewards had been distributed. Ryumin was ready for the next step. The angel announced players would be returned to the real world. 2 people, a long chestnut-haired girl and a brown-haired boy, stepped into the radiant light. Another player, face covered in blood and mud, clenched his fists, eyes full of defiance. Despite being injured, he still nurtured the will to survive for the next round. The angel smiled strangely, one eye flashing, as if predicting a more exciting scenario ahead. Round 3 would be more interesting, she assured. A system notification appeared. Round 2 ended. The total number of survivors worldwide was over 873 million. In Ryumin's zone ESKS 45-5, 4,988 people remain. A trembling hand with blue light effects appeared. The player's soul was being transferred back to their body in the real world, signaling a brief pause between deadly rounds. The muscular man who had confronted Ryumin, Black Scythe, woke up gasping, eyes panicked as if just escaping a nightmare. He raised his hand to check, unable to believe his eyes when he saw his body completely intact after suffering severe injuries in the otherworld. Sitting on the bed, he sighed in relief. Both arms were still intact. He realized, as long as he didn't die, the soul could return to the original body. With a thoughtful expression, he silently vowed never to disrespect Ryumin again. Black Scythe was chillingly cold, and it was best to stay away. At her home, Arin's bodyguard and manager bowed to her after they had survived and returned. Arin was humble, saying she hadn't done much and instead worried about her protector. Arin smiled gently, sincerely thanking him for the protection. Her eyes shone with gratitude. The bodyguard blushed awkwardly, responding stiffly like a professional. It was his duty, of course. Arin turned away, holding her teacup tightly, saying she wanted to express gratitude to Ryumin, Black Scythe. She hoped there was some way to contact him again. The bodyguard explained they did not know Black Scythe's true identity, nor had any clues to track him down. He believed Ryumin deliberately kept his identity secret. He recounted that he had asked for a bank account to send thanks to Ryumin, but the latter refused immediately, further confirming that Black Scythe did not want material rewards. Arin's manager explained that Black Scythe refused to reveal his account out of concern his true identity would be traced. Arin suddenly understood the issue, her eyes showing empathy. He suggested Arin express her gratitude by giving an item in the next challenge round if she met Black Scythe again. Arin hesitantly agreed to the suggestion, but still wanted to think more to find a more worthy way to repay the one who saved her. The conversation ended. The manager wished Arin rest and said he would see her the next morning. Arin also told him to be careful on his way home. The manager entered the elevator. The sound bzzz rang as he received an unexpected call. He answered the phone and recognized the caller as department head on Sancheol, a familiar familiar figure in the hierarchy system. An Sangcheol confirmed he had been drinking and was still awake. The caller congratulated Ma Jeongrok on changing class to Dark Knight. Ma Jeongrok humbly replied with thanks, then asked about An Sangcheol's situation. Sangcheol said he and Arin only reached level 8 due to injuries midway. Sangcheol continued reporting, implying he was about to reveal important information, and asked if Ma had time to listen. The call took place in a luxury parking lot. Sangcheol walked among supercars, preparing to continue exchanging with Ma Jeongrok, who seemed to be his direct superior. A gray-haired man called and announced something important. It's related to Black Scythe. This was Ma Jeongrok, a powerful backstage figure receiving urgent information. Ma Jeongrok requested the person contacting him to meet directly at the hotel to discuss matters. The other party responded that they would arrive within 20 minutes. The atmosphere indicated this was an important meeting. An Sangcheol left the parking lot to head to meet Ma Jeongrok. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure was watching him from behind a pillar. An Sangcheol's car exited the basement. The watcher remained standing in the shadows, following the car until it disappeared from sight. The watcher revealed his face. It was Ryumin, also known as Black Scythe. He suspected An Sangcheol was going to meet Ma Jeongrok and quickly began tracking him. The phrase, 10 minutes ago, indicated this was Ryumin's flashback. Ryumin sat beside his younger brother Ryuwon, who was sleeping, using a special device to track the target. He activated the tracking function by thinking of An Sangcheol's name and face. The device confirmed An Sangcheol's face and name matched. Tracking was initiated, pinpointing the target's location. The device displayed distance to An Sangcheol was 9 meters. Ryumin guessed he was still in the penthouse apartment on a high floor. The distance began changing rapidly, from 23 m to 56 m, then 87 m. Ryumin inferred An Sangcheol was in the elevator preparing to leave. Ryumin grew suspicious. Was An Sangcheol intending to meet Ma Jeongrok? His eyes turned sharp, showing high alertness. Ryumin decided to leave the room after confirming An Sangcheol was moving, when he was still sound asleep on the bed, unaware. Ryumin smiled confidently, thinking that tracking An Sangcheol immediately upon returning was a wise decision. The faint moonlight illuminated the night sky, creating a gloomy scene that evoked a sense of unease. A gray-haired man stood before a high-rise window, gazing at the moon and city. He felt tonight was perfect for action. The gray-haired man told himself to stay restrained, as the important task ahead was to complete the report. He sat down, holding a glass of wine, thinking about Black Scythe, the leader of all zones in the first 2 rounds. The prominence of that name made him unable to ignore it. A feeling of unease arose within him. Someone connected to the top-ranked player surely was not a simple relationship. He clenched his fist, worried that Ryumin, aka Black. A young man opened the door and stepped into the room, taking off his coat. On the bed, Ryumin was sound asleep, his face buried deep in the sleeve of the coat. The young man stood outside in the darkness, smiling smugly. He thought to himself, monitoring Ryumin right after his return was a wise decision. The night sky was hazy, the moonlight obscured by clouds. He realized, tonight the moonlight is quite dim. A platinum-haired man stood on a high balcony, looking down at the city. He quietly murmured, "Nights like this are perfect for work." With a calm but determined demeanor, the man told himself to restrain himself. He prioritized finishing the report first. Sitting on a chair, the man sipped his drink and mentioned the name Black Scythe, the leader of all zones in rounds 1 and 2. He appeared troubled by the connection between Ryumin and his subordinate. He tapped his fingers on the table, feeling irritated by the speculations. The name Ryumin, Black Scythe, made him cautious. Still sitting quietly, he continued to think. If Ryumin really caused trouble for his subordinate, it was something he could not overlook. He raised his finger, showing determination. Touching his people meant provoking him directly. With a powerful and confident face, the man affirmed he would not let anyone stand in his way, even if that person was the top-ranked player. An Sangcheol laughed, saying that Ma Jeongrok was being overly praised and surely had something he wanted to ask. Ma Jeongrok smiled confidently, proactively inviting Sangcheol to ask questions, as if he had guessed the purpose of the visit. Sangcheol hesitated, then mustered all his courage to ask, "How did you obtain the class selection item?" Ma Jeongrok answered gently, as if it was a trivial matter. "Just kill enough monsters and the item will appear by itself." Despite saying that, Ma Jeongrok secretly thought the truth was thanks to something special, Dark Knight's rune. He recalled the moment the angel announced rewards for players, a special gift in the inventory. In the inventory, Jeongrok discovered Dark Knight's rune, boosting all stats, increasing damage, and unlocking the Dark Knight class upon reaching level 10. He was stunned when he realized, once reaching level 10, he would automatically be switched to the Dark Knight class. Jeongrok silently judged himself very lucky from the first round, having received such a powerful rune from a random fragment. But he also reminded himself, although Sangcheol was a trusted subordinate, this information was too important to reveal. In this world, people can change at any time.
Ma Jeongrok asked on Sangcheol directly, "Who harmed you?" His gaze was sharp, unwilling to beat around the bush.
He coldly proposed, "Was it Black Scythe who did it?" Sangcheol panicked and denied. He stammered that Black Scythe not only did not harm him, but was the one who saved his life. Hearing that, Ma Jeongrok looked surprised. He leaned forward, asking Sangcheol to tell everything. Sangcheol explained clearly. Both he and Cohort were nearly killed by a gang. Without Black Scythe's intervention, the outcome would have been tragic. He further affirmed, although Arin might survive, the psychological shock would prevent her from continuing her acting career. Ma Jeongrok was silent, full of thoughts. He realized he had almost lost not only a reliable subordinate, but also an important asset in the entertainment industry. He raised his glass and asked further, "So what happened to the attackers? Are they all dead?" Sangcheol replied, "Black Scythe beat them nearly to death but did not finish them off. The reason, according to Black Scythe, if the number of people in the area decreased, the number of passes would also decrease. Killing them brought no benefit." But Ma Jeongrok doubted. What if they repeat their offense? Ma Jeongrok thought silently, realizing that thanks to Black Scythe, he had preserved both his income source and loyal subordinates. Jeongrok sighed, telling himself he must express his gratitude to his benefactor. On Sangcheol replied that Black Scythe had refused and left immediately afterward. Hearing that Black Scythe refused any reward, Jeongrok began to reason. Perhaps Black Scythe wanted to keep his identity secret and acted only to protect himself. Ma Jeongrok instructed on Sangcheol to convey his thanks to Black Scythe when he met him in the next round. Sangcheol immediately agreed. Jeongrok continued to order Sangcheol to quietly monitor Black Scythe and assist if necessary. He did not want to owe a favor without repaying it. Sangcheol agreed, but as he turned to leave, Jeongrok suddenly remembered something important he hadn't asked. With a cold expression, Ma Jeongrok gritted his teeth and asked for the names of those who dared attack his subordinate. He called them bastards and wanted to know their specific usernames. The scene shifted to outside the Imperial Hotel. A man with long hair stood leaning against a tree, observing. From behind the tree, Ryumin appeared with his hood pulled up, eyes cold. He mockingly called on Sangcheol a loyal dog for going straight to Ma Jeongrok after leaving the other world. After observing enough, Ryumin decided to leave. He realized that staying any longer would arouse suspicion, so he chose to withdraw silently. Ryumin was surprised to learn that the celebrity sponsored by Ma Jeongrok lived in the same apartment complex as him. He silently thanked his younger brother for that. He recalled the moment he and Ryuwon shared rice cakes with their neighbors, a gesture that inadvertently helped him discover the celebrity's residence. If not for that encounter, Ryumin would not have known Cohort lived there, nor realized that On Sangcheol was her bodyguard. Ryumin calculated that if he cleverly exploited the neighborly relationship, he could win Ma Jeongrok's trust, as long as the latter survived until round 20. Ryumin assessed that Ma Jeongrok's Dark Knight rune was too powerful, even if it meant sacrificing the right to choose another rune to obtain this class. However, to use Dark Aura, players must absorb a special type of energy called Dark Mana, which cannot be accumulated in the usual way. Dark Mana can only be absorbed through cruel acts, a trait that perfectly suited Ma Jeongrok's twisted pleasures. Faced with the image of scattered corpses, Ryumin realized this power truly reflected the nature of a psychopath like Ma Jeongrok. He considered whether he should recruit such a perverted person into his team, but for now, Ryumin decided only to observe and exploit him when necessary. Although Ma Jeongrok was strong, Ryumin knew there were many other talented people, and one of them had just caught his attention, a girl who used magic. Ryumin left the Imperial Hotel at night, determined to get to work as soon as morning came. The next morning, at the QS-24 convenience store, the quiet atmosphere was interrupted by the worried sigh of a middle-aged man. The man, the store owner, sat at the counter holding his head in thought, troubled by declining sales. He lamented that with the current situation, sales would be cut in half if he couldn't find a way to cope. A young girl opened the door and cheerfully called out, "Dad." She was the store owner's daughter. The father and daughter chatted happily. He called her "my beloved daughter," and she immediately noticed her father was sad and asked why. The owner revealed that selling Natto lottery tickets had been suspended, causing the store's revenue to suffer greatly. He further explained that the government gave vague reasons, but in reality it was because they feared players would cheat using supernatural skills. The daughter opened her phone and read news about someone winning Natto 4 times in a row, suspecting that person was a player, which caused sales to plummet uncontrollably. The owner continued to complain about high rent and labor costs, worried about how to manage. The daughter smiled encouragingly, promising to help out after she graduated. Jury wondered if she should find another part-time job to help support the family. However, her father smiled reassuringly, telling her he would handle everything and just wanted her to focus on her studies. The father recalled Jury's dream to become a doctor and asked if, with such good grades, she didn't intend to go to university. Jury interrupted, revealing that she had given up on becoming a doctor. Given the current situation, continuing school no longer seemed suitable, which shocked her father. The father fell silent, admitting that money was no longer the most important thing. He feared something might happen again in the next challenge round. With a tired and troubled look, he bowed his head and apologized to his daughter for not being strong. Jury quietly called out "Dad," full of sorrow. She held his hand and offered comfort. Jury told him he didn't need to apologize because everything was beyond his control. Jury smiled gently. She said she was still okay, having survived round 2 and even received a class. She was trying to prove her strength. Jury told her father to wait a moment, then raised her hand above his head. Blue light radiated from her palm, a clear sign she was using a special skill. She placed her hand on her father's forehead, emitting a strong light from a healing or protective spell. The father was completely amazed by this miraculous act. After the spell finished, the father was stunned and wondered, "What just happened?" He touched his head, still unable to believe the strange event before his eyes. Jury raised her glowing hand and explained to her father that the skill she had just used was called Bless, received when she chose the supporter class. This skill slightly boosts all the recipient's stats. The father was pleasantly surprised, feeling full of vitality. He praised the skill as wonderful. Jury smiled happily and said she would use the skill on him whenever needed. Jury clenched her hand, her eyes determined and encouraging her father. "So, Dad, you have to cheer up." The father was moved and smiled, responding to his daughter's encouragement. "Yes, thank you. I will do my best." Returning to work, he cheerfully greeted. The store clerk was startled to recognize the customer entering as an acquaintance. The young man with messy black hair and blue eyes, wearing a light gray jacket and a beige sweater underneath, was walking into the store slowly and calmly. The daughter in the store asked her father in surprise, "Do you know him?" The father replied anxiously and trembling, "That is him." The owner confirmed the identity of the guest. He was the one who had won first prize with 100 lottery tickets all bearing the same number, all purchased at this store. The young man approached the cashier and greeted them. He mentioned that he had bought a lottery ticket worth 100,000 won here a month ago. The store owner nodded in acknowledgement that he remembered that, but asked in surprise, "Is there something wrong?" The young man bowed his head apologetically, making the owner even more confused, not understanding what was happening. He explained that he had seen news about himself continuously winning the lottery. This caused the store to stop selling lottery tickets. Ryumin, the young man's name, apologized for unintentionally causing trouble for the store. The girl beside him was speechless, unsure how to react. The owner laughed heartily, waved his hand, and said it was not Ryumin's fault. Stopping the sale of lottery tickets did not put him in financial hardship. Ryumin still felt guilty for the difficulties he had caused, so he decided to do something to make amends. Ryumin took an envelope out of his pocket and handed it to the store owner with a sincere apology. "I want to compensate, even though it's not much." The store owner was stunned to learn that inside was 10 million won, leaving both him and his daughter speechless. The man hastily waved his hand to refuse, but Ryu Min firmly held his ground. "I caused trouble, please accept it." After saying goodbye, Ryu Min turned his back and left the store, leaving the owner hesitating, wanting to call after him. The old man stood dumbfounded, holding the envelope in his hand, not knowing how to react. "How can I accept this gift so casually?" The quick-witted daughter grabbed the envelope and said she would run after him to return it. The father quickly agreed. "Go, return it to him." The girl ran quickly out of the store, determined to catch up with Ryu Min to return the large sum of money. From afar, she called out loudly, "Wait, please wait a moment." Ryu Min turned around when he heard the call. He stopped and turned his head, calmly looking at the person who had just called him from behind. The girl approached, panting and calling his name. "Ryu Min, you are Ryu Min, right?" Surprised, Ryu Min replied, "Who are you?" When Ryu Min turned around, the girl unexpectedly called his name. It was Min Jury. She was surprised that he did not recognize her. Min Jury introduced herself more clearly, affirming that they were classmates. Ryu Min looked surprised, as if hearing this for the first time. Jury asked disappointedly if Ryu Min really did not know they had been in the same class all along. Ryu Min smiled lightly and apologized, saying he was not good at remembering faces, but that was just a lie. In a flashback, Ryumin, under the identity of Black Scythe, recalled meeting Juri in another world. He admitted that this meeting was intentional, aiming to recruit her as an ally. Back in the present, Juri suggested they find a place to talk so they could understand each other better. Ryumin immediately agreed, responding with a gentle smile that showed a relaxed and open attitude. They sat together on a stone bench in the park, under leafless trees in winter, beginning their conversation. Juri handed the envelope back to Ryumin, firmly insisting that he take the money back. Ryumin looked at the envelope, thinking that 10 million won was truly a burden. He silently calculated that he gave that money because he knew they would not accept it, especially someone like Juri, who never wanted to owe anyone, no matter how difficult the circumstances. Juri smiled, holding out the envelope and urging Ryumin to accept it because her hand was starting to get tired. Ryumin flatly refused. He admitted he gave the money to her father out of pity, simply because he felt guilty. Juri was surprised that Ryumin was not concerned about such a large amount of money. She felt awkward, but he just wanted to make amends to avoid feeling guilty. Juri still tried to persuade him that the amount was too large, but Ryumin calmly revealed that was the point. He wanted her to feel the burden. Ryumin said his final words, to return it to the store owner. To him, this money was insignificant. Juri could only sigh, lamenting his stubbornness. Ryumin stood up, intending to leave after the conversation. Juri hurriedly called him back while still holding the envelope of money. Finally, Juri gave in. She said that 10 million won was too much, so she would only accept 1 million on behalf of her father. Ryumin disagreed. He questioned, "Do you have the right to decide for the store owner?" Juri lowered her head, admitting that her father would feel embarrassed accepting the full amount. When Ryumin suddenly discovered that the store owner was Juri's father, he was quite surprised since he often visited that store. Juri confirmed this with a shy expression. Juri smiled slightly, saying it was a coincidence that the lottery winner was her classmate. Ryumin looked at her, repeating inwardly, "Classmate, huh?" Juri wondered if Ryumin really did not know they were classmates. She said she recognized him the first time he entered the store. Ryumin smiled lightly, apologizing because he was very bad at remembering faces. Juri was surprised as this was their first time talking like this. Ryumin guessed that maybe today was the first time he learned her name. Juri confirmed this, slightly embarrassed and apologetic. Juri was silent, her eyes showing obvious embarrassment. She silently apologized for pretending not to know Ryumin. Ryumin smiled meaningfully, thinking that Juri would care if he acted this way. Juri stepped forward decisively, repeating her name as Juri and affirming that she was his classmate. She pointed to her face and loudly said, "And I look like this. Do you remember me now?" Ryumin smiled brightly and gently replied, "Yes, I remember." Juri blushed and stood silently. Juri felt reality hit her, wondering what she was doing. She was embarrassed and awkward thinking about her actions. Ryumin gently reassured her. He said that even if the introduction was late, it was okay, and they could still talk after graduation. Juri was surprised when the boy in front of her asked an unexpected question. "Can you give me your phone number?" She stammered, unable to react immediately. His sudden request for her number stunned her. The boy smiled and gently explained that asking for a classmate's number was nothing strange. Juri blushed and agreed. Still looking confused, Juri gently took the phone from the boy who was offering it. They exchanged numbers. He said they should keep in touch more often because this was a fateful meeting. Juri nodded awkwardly. Before leaving, the boy said he had something to do. Juri only managed to reply, still not fully recovered from the conversation. As he turned to leave, Juri suddenly remembered the envelope. She called after him, but he just waved goodbye and continued walking. She watched his retreating figure with regret for not being able to return the envelope to him. Juri hugged her chest, recalling the moment he asked for her number. Her heart beat fast, surprised by the surge of emotions. She silently told herself that even though he only asked for her number as a friend, her heart had already been moved. Juri admitted, "I like you." The black-haired schoolgirl recalled the first time she met Ryu Min in an unexpected situation. She witnessed Ryu Min being cruelly bullied by a group of students. Unable to stand by, she hurriedly called the police, her voice trembling but determined. Feeling responsible for what she had done, she quietly followed Ryu Min until he arrived home safely. A few days later, she was surprised to see Ryu Min working part-time at a store, smiling brightly at customers as if nothing had happened. From that moment, she realized that Ryu Min was not weak as he appeared, but a person with remarkable inner strength. She gradually became attracted to his resilience. That was when she began to care for Ryu Min more deeply. However, every time she wanted to get closer, she would step back, lacking the courage to start a conversation with him. Her growing feelings made her fearful and evasive. She couldn't approach Ryu Min even though she really wanted to. Now, meeting him again unexpectedly, she believed this was an opportunity fate had brought. The schoolgirl held the letter from Ryu Min in her hand, silently determined. She couldn't ignore the fact that he was the one who gave her 10 million won, an act that made her heart race and touched her deeply. The black-haired schoolgirl stood silently amid the dry winter scenery, her hand gently touching her collar, eyes looking up at the high sky. Ryu-min sat on the bed in the bedroom, intently looking at his phone. The sound of messages kept ringing continuously. He was chatting via messages with Min Juri. She invited him to lunch and offered to pay. Ryu-min realized she felt grateful to him, a positive sign in his plan. He smiled, thinking, if they keep getting closer like this, sooner or later Min Juri will become an ally. Ryu-min decided, I will protect Min Juri at least until round 20. His younger brother Ryu-won sat in the living room, surprised to see his older brother getting ready to go out. Hyung, where are you going? Ryu-won asked. Ryu-min replied briefly, meeting a friend. Ryu-won was suspicious and asked again, not a girl, right? Ryu-min laughed and countered, am I not allowed to have a female friend? Before leaving, Ryu-min turned back and reminded, I'll have lunch outside, you take care of yourself. Ryu-won mumbled, yes. Ryu-won remained seated, his eyes blankly watching his brother leave the house. He suddenly startled, panicked, thinking, could it be? He's talking to someone. A fancy restaurant named Steakhouse appeared under the clear blue sky. Someone's voice asked a simple question, do you like steak? Inside the restaurant, Min Juri, a black-haired girl with a shy appearance, was embarrassed by the question. Opposite her was Ryu-min, who asked straightforwardly, steak. Min Juri stammered, confirming she liked steak. Ryu-min smiled gently and told her to eat comfortably, creating a thoughtful and surprising feeling. Juri looked at Ryu-min confused. She couldn't believe she was having lunch alone with the guy who once made her admire from afar. The space was quiet, only soft music playing. Juri sat silently, fidgeting in thought. The atmosphere between them became awkward. The young girl awkwardly looked at Ryu-min. In her heart, she urged herself, Min Juri, be brave. Juri tried to start a conversation, asking how he managed to rank first in Nato, not just once but 4 times in a row. Ryu-min answered gently that he dreamed of the winning numbers. A humorous image illustrating the dream appeared, showing some luck or perhaps something more. Juri was amazed. She asked further, unable to hide her curiosity. So how much money have you made from those dreams? Ryu-min smiled calmly, replying that the amount was enough so he no longer had to worry about finances. However, now what he needed to focus on was survival. Min Juri curiously asked Ryu-min about his zone. Ryu-min thought then answered that he didn't remember clearly, only that the last number was 5. Min Juri smiled shyly, replying that her zone ended with the number 7. She regretfully thought they probably wouldn't meet again in later rounds. Ryu-min reassured Juri in his thoughts, firmly stating they would meet again. As the number of survivors decreased, zones would merge into one. Min Juri shifted to ask about levels. Ryu-min answered level 10, making Juri excited because she also reached that level. They exchanged about whether they had classes yet. Min Juri happily revealed she was lucky to get a class, supporter. Ryu-min repeated the class name thoughtfully, confirming the information. Ryu-min asked again, is it the kind of class that increases buffs like in games? In his heart, he was glad Min Juri was still a supporter this round. Min Juri enthusiastically suggested trying the buff skill Bless, which increases all stats. Ryu-min gently agreed, go ahead, I'm ready. Min Juri raised her hand, activating the skill. A brilliant green light radiated from her hand and surrounded Ryu-min's head. The Bless skill has an effect of increasing all stats by 50% for 3 hours. Ryu-min was amazed by the power, guessing that when Juri reaches max level, the effect will double. Ryu-min looked at Juri smiling brightly, feeling relieved. He thought to himself, good, she still got that class, that's why I sought her out from the start. Ryu-min recalled the special reward, a random bag of gold received for being the first to choose a class. He explained that the amount of gold in the bag depends on the luck stat. The higher the luck, the bigger the reward. He smiled and thanked Juri. Juri responded kindly, telling Ryu-min to ask her anytime. Their conversation took place in a gentle atmosphere. Juri suddenly remembered that Ryu-min said he had something to tell her. She quickly apologized for forgetting to ask earlier. She sincerely thanked Ryu-min for the financial help before. She said her father also asked her to send his thanks. Juri hesitated, but said she would try to repay the 10 million won. Ryu-min laughed and reminded her she didn't need to return the money. Not wanting to owe a favor, Juri offered to repay in another way if Ryu-min refused the money. Suddenly, she had an idea. Juri handed Ryu-min a strange, glowing item, telling him to accept it. Ryu-min was surprised and asked what it was. Juri explained it was an item she obtained while hunting in Otherworld. She wanted to give it to him as a token of gratitude and wouldn't allow refusal. After lunch ended, Juri said goodbye to Ryu-min. He told her to be careful in the next round. Ryu-min walked along the paved path in the park, alone, in the quiet and open space. Stopping under a dry tree canopy, Ryumin opened his inventory with the command Inventory, a golden light emanating from the virtual screen floating before him. In the inventory, a low-level purple mana stone appeared. The description specified it was a one-time use item that emitted gentle mana energy. Ryumin held the purple mana stone in his hand. Though unsure of its effect, he felt the energy radiating from it. Ryumin pondered. He believed that by level 20, he would understand the true value of this mana stone. A system message appeared. When players reach level 20, they unlock the Combine feature, allowing them to merge mana stones with equipment. The Combine feature lets players add special options to weapons by using mana stones. There are 7 different colors of mana stones, each carrying distinct meanings and effects. Each color provides different effects. Red increases damage, orange boosts strength, yellow raises luck. Green increases agility, while blue enhances intelligence, expanding diverse character development possibilities. In the magical equipment world, the dark blue mana stone is depicted with a special function, reducing damage taken. Among the majestic warriors, the purple stone appears the rarest of all. Ryumin stared at the purple mana stone in his hand, fully aware of its rare value, increasing all stats and having an extremely low drop rate. With a slight smile, Ryumin thought about his unexpected luck. He had received this precious stone for free, an unimaginable opportunity. Ryumin nodded slightly in acknowledgement. Indeed, his current luck stat was very high, something he could not deny. He decided not to use the mana stone yet. Instead, he would keep it until reaching level 20, when the Combine skill is unlocked. Ryumin planned to utilize the effect from the Slaughter rune to increase stats before opening the gold bag and activating the Bless buff. He took out a small bag containing hundreds of rice worms, materials ready for an unexpected strategy. Ryumin confirmed the mechanism of the Slaughter rune, increasing stats by 1% for each creature killed. Even small insects counted as targets. He recalled his time in Otherworld, where there were no insects to exploit the rune, forcing him to kill monsters to increase stats. But now it was different. With a calm gaze, Ryumin softly said sorry, then lifted his foot, ready to begin a calculated massacre of insects. Ryumin utilized the effect of Rune of Slaughter, sequentially killing 100 small creatures. Each creature killed increased his stats by 1%, reaching a maximum cumulative bonus of plus 100%. He opened the status panel to check the results. Thanks to the rune, his luck stat had increased from 15 to 45. Along with agility plus 63 and other stats, Ryumin believed this was enough for the next action. Ryumin opened his inventory and took out the random gold pouch, a limited gold bag he received for being the first to choose a class. Now was the right time to use it thanks to his high luck stat. The gold pouch is a one-time use item that can drop between 1 and 9,999 gold. Its effect is directly influenced by the luck stat.